life with Belle. Yeah, I said the live show is starting soon, so keep your YouTubes tuned to Thread Life with Belle, with Belle, with Belle. On YouTube starting very soon, so stay tuned, Belle is getting ready for you. Quilting, teaching, sewing, making lovely things. Come on and join us, it's almost time for Thread Life with Belle. Yeah, I said the live show is starting soon, so keep your YouTubes tuned to Thread Life with Belle. Thread Life, Thread Life, Thread Life, Thread Life, Thread Life, Thread Life with Belle, starting soon.
Happy Monday, no, Tuesday, quilty friends. I'm thrown off this week. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to my studio. Welcome to Thread Life with Belle. I'm happy to see some of my Threadmaster members. Hello, Shelly, Threadmaster member. Trish, welcome back. Hey, Brenda. Brenda won actually the last 2 times on the show. So she's going to take a little bit of break from winning, she said, when I do giveaways. Well, welcome everybody. I'm a little bit tired today. You probably can see it in my eyes, so I put on like extra lipstick. My cousins were here for like 5 days, and we have not all been together as a group since the late 80s. So it has been like 30 something years. Yeah, crazy. I'm the oldest of all of us, so I'm 50. And then it goes down to my brother, he's 48. And then my boy cousin is 45. Another cousin, she's 42. Another girl cousin is 40. And then the baby cousin is 37. So we were all together with adults and they brought all of their kids. So the second cousins got to meet and play. And we just had our 2 Airbnbs. One of them, you know, I use as the Quilt Retreat Center. We used both of the B&Bs and they all fit in both of them. And then we used the studio. I kind of put all the quilting stuff away and we had a big pizza party and watermelon and I baked pies and it was a lot of fun. And then my stepdaughter arrived Sunday and she's with us till tomorrow. So Quilt Husband and I are a little bit tired. We feel like we're on some kind of bender that's lasted for 7 days. Good time was had with the cousins and they're gonna come back every year. So anyway, last live that I did was last week. I think it was last Monday before I kind of had to get ready for company. So what are we doing today, y'all? Well, welcome. We are going to go through, I have a bag here full of stuff. One of the things that my stepdaughter likes to do when she comes, and I think it's something that we really taught her from birth, was thrifting and flea markets and all the treasures that you can find. So her and her dad did that for a couple days. Well, actually Sunday evening on the way here, all day yesterday, and then this afternoon, we went to the local thrift store here in the little town that I live in. And I came back with $20 worth of stuff in this huge bag. And it's one of those thrift stores that most things are like $1, literally. Nothing's like over like $1 or $2 in there. So, hey, Kendra, welcome. Another Threadmaster member. I'm glad you guys could make it with me tonight. I kind of just impromptu decided to do a live tonight because we went to the thrift store and I got all this stuff and it's all sewing and all quilting related in some capacity or another. And actually they said they had just put it out this morning. So I was super excited because you never know what you're gonna get. This thrift store has the best prices. Normally when we go to Goodwill, things are a little bit more expensive, but I've not found a thrift store that's any cheaper than our local one here. So you never know what you're gonna find, but today was all sewing and quilting notions. So I was like, you know what? I'll show you guys what I got and then we can talk about maybe what I should do with some of it. yeah, what I'm thinking I might do with a few things. Some of it I'm not sure of. So that's what we're going to go over tonight. I'm also going to show you, I have quilted my first real quilt on the long arm. So those of you that were here for the whole introduction to the used long arm and edge-to-edge software system I got, I did a baby quilt before my cousins got here. So I'm going to show that to you. And then also our next project, which is going to be Friday, I'm going to show you how to make your own visor. I'm going to tell you a little story about visors too, in my childhood and my mom about visors. So this is one that I made for Florida, and I'm going to make another one, but I'm going to use some liquid vinyl to make it where it's kind of waterproof. So that will be what we do next. It involves a pattern and some templates and stuff like that. So that will be Friday. And I'll kind of show you the next vintage quilt top. I'm going to practice quilting on the long arm. So that'll be after we go over the loot that I have here today. All right, well, let's get started, y'all. I'm going to change to the overhead and let's see what is in this bag. So I've kind of put the bag to the side. I'm curious to know, let me know first before we get into this, how many of you like flea markets and thrift stores? I really would like to know. For me, and it's interesting because some people have different feelings about flea markets and thrift stores and yard sales. And I think it probably just depends on your mindset, maybe how you were raised. So for me, when I was younger, my dad on Sunday afternoon, sometimes we would go to Hot Springs and we would go to yard sales, and I absolutely loved it. And you could get a lot of good quality stuff back then, more so than now. Stuff was like solid metal, it didn't break, you know, all that stuff. Hey, Gina, welcome. I haven't seen you in a while. I'm glad you're here. So anyway, that was something fun that we did as a family. And my dad was very resourceful. He taught us to be resourceful and that there was nothing wrong with used, that we were not too good for that. So I really appreciate that about him and my mom too. So as kids, we grew up that thrifting was fun. There was not a bad connotation to that. And then with my grandmother, with her, she would go get her hair done and give me like some money to I'd go to the library, read books, go to the soda fountain and get a limeade. And then I would go to the thrift store, and the ladies back there, when I was about 12, they would let me be the cashier with them. So I got to volunteer. So this thrift store that I went to today, that we go to, is the one I volunteered with as a little girl, like a preteen. So I took some photos today. They have made, all that money goes to our local nursing home, and it has since 1966. And they've raised over $6 million since 1966 total that has gone to our local nursing home. So people support it a lot. Brenda, you don't have much luck with thrift stores? Yeah, it's sometimes hit or miss. Like, we know where they all are. When Quilt Husband and I travel, we always find a local Goodwill's and we always go there. We've actually even bought like a used suitcase at Goodwill to get all the stuff back that we bought there. And I know some people, if they had to only get school clothes and things like secondhand growing up and they were ashamed of that, as adults, they may not love thrift stores as much because of maybe, you know, kind of the mindset around that when they were younger. I don't know. So y'all tell me your experience. But for me and Quilt Husband, it was actually our first date, was actually going to a flea market, all the booths. I just absolutely love it. And I did it on my way home from Canton, Texas, when I was at the Sewing and Quilting Expo weekend before last. I stopped, and it's the largest one. It has 5,000 vendors there. So anyway, it's just something that I love. Okay, let's get into the bag. So let me know if you guys do thrifting. So I'll show you what we got here. So I went to the linen section first, and I always look for linens first, particularly doilies, lace, or things like that, because sometimes I will put them into things that I make, like a tote bag. I actually have sometimes put them on. Recently, I've been experimenting with a few garments. I just never know what I might use them for. And these were 50 cents. So these were actually curtains that I came across that are kind of like doilies. I don't know how old they are, but yeah. And so all of these I wash and then just fold and put away. So these kind of match. This looks like a valance that went across the top, maybe here. So I just have one whole full drawer full of like doilies and this type of vintage. This is like one half of one. This is like a panel. So the rod goes here and it kind of hangs down like this here. So I just kind of never know what I might want to use them for. And sometimes if they're big enough, like I'm learning how to make kind of some wraps and stuff. And so these could be used to make clothes out of too, if you got, you know, a big enough piece. So we'll see. If you look at the curtains behind me, you see my curtains back here. So that is vintage muslin, and those are doilies that I've sewn on there. And these are Swedish blondes. So there's actually lace that is holding them up. So the lace, it ties them up, and then that is a dowel on the bottom of those back there. So that's like an example of what I've used them for before. So I had to get these. I mean, 50 cents, you can't beat those. So they get washed sometimes, depending on what they are, and these maybe. I may put some bleach to bleach these just a little bit. I also sometimes use, it's called Retro Clean, and you can soak vintage material. I use it a lot when I rescue orphan blocks, and you just soak it. I actually will soak it overnight in warm water in the washing machine, and it will brighten things up. So those are kind of the vintage curtains that I got. And then I also will buy, when I can get 100% cotton, and if it's linen, this is a linen blend. I got this too, to use, for me, this is probably gonna be used to practice with like sewing like a top or a skirt or some garments. So this was all, especially with me learning now to kind of sew garments a little bit, I don't wanna ruin good fabric. So I got this big piece here. It's pretty big when you open it all the way up. So anyway, these all get washed, and then sometimes, like I said, the Retro Clean for that. So that's what we've got for the linens here. Erin, your favorite activity is to do thrifting on a Sunday afternoon. Isn't it so much fun? It is. I mean, all of the stuff I'm showing you, I got literally, it was even $20, all the stuff that I got, y'all. It's just so much fun. And the thing is that use the old stuff, the used stuff is good. Like, it's really good quality, you know? Let me turn the light down just a little bit on this so you can see this vase really well. So y'all know I'm growing my own, well, if you follow me on Instagram, you know this. I post a lot of photos of my flower garden because I've learned, became a master gardener this last fall, and I'm learning all about flowers. So I've been planting a lot of them, and I thought this vase, it was $1, was so cute with the little birds because I love my birds. I have bird feeders and feed them. So I got this vase. The green is a really happy green. It's not like a green I would wear or I would ever use in a quilt, but I really liked it a lot for flower arrangement. So I got that for $1. And there's another piece in here. So y'all remember when I did the pin cushion? You know, I did the pin cushion tutorial on how to make the pin cushion. Let me turn the light back up for this. With crushed walnut shells. So this is definitely vintage. Can you see all of those little, I don't know, they're like little dots or whatever that stick out, little spikes. I'm not a red person, like a cherry red person, but I was like, this, sometimes I'll make pin cushions when I find really cool containers, and then I'll sell them on my website. So I really love this one. This was $1, and I think it's probably vintage. It looks like it is. I don't know what it was used for. It doesn't really look like a candle was in there. I'm not sure, but I got that for $1, which was super fun. I got 2 embroidery hoops. This really nice big oval one, and there's another one in here, if I can find. It's a really teeny small one somewhere in there. I'll find it in a minute. I got this one because, so I have right now a quilt top that is in it's a really large hoop on a stand, and it's in the living room because I'm actually slowly hand quilting a quilt by hand. And it's going a lot slower than I thought. Initially, I thought, oh, I could have this done by the end of the year, but I had trouble like sitting still to do that. And we don't have a TV in our living room. The only place we have a TV is in our bedroom. because we have all windows in our house, across the whole front house from top to bottom are windows. It's a partial underground house. So there really wasn't a wall to put one, and we're not like big TV watchers, except, you know, sometimes I will at night in bed, we'll watch something, but not a lot. So I thought, well, some people have told me that if it's off the stand and it's just in like a hoop like this in my lap, that I might be more liable to do it like in bed. Because being on the stand, I can't put that like in the bed with me to do it while I watch TV. So I got this one, and this was $2 for this one. So, which is really nice. You just bought a green dish just like this, Erin? Like exactly like this one? Do you know the history behind it? I would love to know. I probably could. So what you can do with Google, you can take a photo, upload it into Google Image. That's actually a feature that I use when I'm designing quilt patterns, unless I'm using a traditional block. So traditional blocks from Barbara Brackman's Encyclopedia of Quilts, those are not copyrightable. So any of us designers can take a sawtooth star or a churn dash or 4-patch or whatever, and, you know, put it together in a pattern and sell it or make it free, and it's not copyrightable. But some patterns that we design that are very unique, maybe blocks that are not in that, are copyrightable. So I use that Google feature, and I'll upload a mock-up of a design that I think I want to make sure. Nowhere on the internet can you see one like identical to it or like it before I actually move forward with publishing it. So you can do that with stuff like this. You can take a photo, upload it into Google Image, and it'll tell you if there's other ones, and maybe you could find a little bit about it. I'm probably gonna have to do that with this one, but I'll have to find out. Yeah, you'll have to share a picture, Erin, of that for sure. Okay, so I got that embroidery hoop. We'll put that one out of the way. I may try to do it in my lap. We will see. Okay, so I'm gonna open these bags here. This just had like all kinds of notions and stuff in it. So I'm just gonna show you as I see what's in here, because I did not open these in the store to know all the stuff that's in here. This bag was $1. Everything in here is $1. Let me turn the light down just a little bit so you can see it better. Okay, what do we have here? So this looks like, well, it can't be maybe it's a wrap bracelet. It's got like, I think this is a wrap bracelet, y'all. It's adjustable. I have one of these that's leather. And yep, I think that's what it is. It's a wrap bracelet. And oh yeah, I have a couple of these that are leather. How fun is that? It's a measuring tape. It's a measuring tape wrap bracelet. There's 2 of them in there. Isn't that fun? Yeah, I'll have to do one of these for a giveaway. I'll probably keep the other one. Who knew? Who knew? Okay, there's 3. There's 3 in there. Okay, I'll have to do 1 for a giveaway or 2 for a giveaway and keep 1. Those are fun. Pom-pom trim, white pom-pom trim. See, all of this for $1. Don't know what I'll use it for yet, but you know, it's always good to have these kind of things on hand, right? You never know. Okay, it looks like someone made a little Kleenex holder here. This has not been opened. So we've got a Kleenex holder. Let's see what else. Oh my gosh, there's lots of vintage rickrack, y'all. I'm excited. Okay, there's more ribbon. Now, this kind of ribbon I love because, you know, I make needle books. I showed y'all how to do, I have a needle book tutorial. And, oh, for a pillow. Yeah, Trish, that would be great for a pillow. It's stark white, and I don't really do a lot in like pure white, but that would be good for a pillow, maybe like to sell or something. I don't know, or give away to somebody, or something on a baby, maybe a little, a pillow for like a pillow book. You know, the pillows that have the little slot for the books. That might be cute on that. Anyway, this is the thin ribbon. What size is this? Does it say? This is like 1/8 of an inch, but it's really thin, and I make needle books. And when I put together my EPP, beginner EPP kits, I use these to tie the needle books, little bows on the side. So that is good to have. Oh my goodness, this is a wrist pin cushion. Someone actually made this. So do y'all have a wrist pin cushion? It's like a some kind of flower. Look at that. It's the kind that kind of snaps on your wrist. So this one definitely, someone was giving this one a loving try. They made this one so you can just put your pins right here. Isn't that cute? I don't know how old it is, but they definitely made it. It was not store-bought. So that's in there. Let's look at all this rickrack. Oh my goodness, this stuff is old. Okay, so this is Wright's. Look how thin the red rickrack is on this one. This is like, I've never seen it this thin before. 6 yards of it. Okay, y'all know how much this was? 15 cents. So if you bought it at the Notion shop or whatever, it was 15 cents back in the day. They had it for 5 cents. They were probably doing like a yard sale, and then what didn't sell, they donated to the thrift store. But yeah, there's no date on it. Made in the USA, 15 cents. Here's some burgundy color. We've got yellow. This was 19 cents back in the day. Looks like we've got some black. This is a little thicker. Oh my goodness, my teal color. This is one of my logo colors. Really thin. I'm excited to find this thin. 50 cents for this. So this was 1978, y'all. 1978. I was 3 when this was in the store. 50 cents. This one's really thin. 19 cents, 6 yards for baby stuff. I don't know what year this one was. Then we've got some powder blue rickrack, some ribbon, and some brown. So this is all really thin rickrack, and I'm excited because I don't have this size. So all of that in this bag was $1. Yay! This is kind of fun to open up together. We get to see what's in the, I've got another bag like this too to open up and see what all's in there. So that is really, really fun. Really, really fun. Okay, put that to the side. Okay, this was a pattern that was in there, and this is from 2003, McCall's. So it's like a craft caddy. This is like some kind of little bucket, and there's all kinds of like notions and patterns in it. And then there is a sewing machine mat. And then this is like an embroidery kit, like a sewing machine embroidery kit. And then this is a little interesting. It like goes over your chair. This like goes over a chair, and it's got like pockets in it. So yeah. Hey, Eternity Homestead. Welcome, welcome. We're just going over my haul from the thrift store of all sewing and quilting things. So the thing about patterns, I don't love the tissue paper. It tears so easily. But I realized that what you can do is you can use fusible interfacing, and you can actually press it to the wrong side of this to make it stiffer and then cut out the pattern to make it easier. So will I make it? I don't know, because my time is so limited, but for a quarter, this is a quarter. Had to get it. Okay, these little baskets, these were a quarter, 25 cents. And I got these because these will be good for pin cushions. And I'm gonna take out whatever this thing is right here going on the side. I'm just gonna pull those out or cut those off. And then I think these would make darling pincushion containers. So we've got 3 now here for 25 cents a piece. Because I always look for stuff for pincushions, and then I'll just make one, and then usually sometimes I'll just sell them or give them away as a gift. Okay, I bought all the pipe cleaner that they had. Anyone want to take a guess why I got the pipe cleaner? I think these were 50 cents. This was, yeah. You want to take a guess why we would use pipe cleaners if we cut them down about this size? Anybody guess? Okay, the first person that guesses it right, if you're in the States, I'll mail you the wrap, the bracelet, that's the measuring tape. First person that gets the answer right of what I'm thinking that I bought these for to use, okay? I'll mail this to you. First person tonight, okay? Yes, Brenda. Brenda, it is good for cleaning your machine. However, Brenda said she's gonna pass on winning anything. She told me that at the start of the show. So Trish, you are the second person. So Trish, I'm gonna send you the bracelet because Brenda won the last two. Brenda, you're so sweet to say at the start of the show you were gonna pass on winning. So Trish, email me your address and I will send you this bracelet. It's belle@seamsewme.com and I'll ship that to you for that is the correct answer. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut these, I think, into thirds. And at the retreat center, I will have them for each person so they can use to clean their machines. And also whenever I teach at guilds and stuff. So I bought all of these to cut up and just kind of have as little treats there for that. So I got all of these super cheap. Let's see what else we got here. Okay, this is, let me open it up. It didn't have the label on it, but it's stabilizer. So this could be used for my embroidery. Like I have a 4x4 embroidery hoop. That's all I can do. Well, it's actually bigger than that. It's a 5x7, but I usually only can get about 4x4s in there. So I thought this would be good for the embroidery, or this can be good for making scrappy binding, like strippy binding. You just sew all, like literally sew all of your scraps on here and it'll end up being used for binding. This is a little stiff though, so I don't know, but I couldn't pass up on it. It was $1, so I bought that. What else can you think of this could be used for besides those were two things that I thought would be good for it. My quilt blocks are usually not this small. Sometimes with my Sashiko, if I'm doing the Sashiko machine, I'll use a stabilizer behind the fabric. So possibly something with that. So I got that for $1. Let's see what else we got here. Okay, y'all are gonna laugh, but I have to tell you why I bought these. I saw them, they were all $1 a piece. There's 2 pears and 2 apples. Okay, they're wooden, and they actually have holes through them here. So I can stick something in the holes. I'm gonna use Mod Podge, or some people would call it like decoupage or whatever, but Mod Podge is the brand I have. And I'm gonna put fabric over them, like, you know, just kind of paint the fabric over them. And then you can put like a twig. I'm gonna get like a stick to make the little, you know, when you pull an apple, it's the stick, the twig there. Why is it not coming to my mind? But yeah, I'm gonna like Mod Podge fabric to these. So I got 2 apples in a pear. All of those were $1 for all 4 of those. I thought that would be fun to do that. And it would be like nice decoration on the table, you know, the kitchen table or something. Okay, let's see, while we're talking about wood, I don't know what I'm gonna do with these. So you guys give me some ideas. These each have, they were $1 a piece. There's 3 large plywood circles in each of these. They are 10 by 0.13 thick. So they're 10-inch circles. So the only thing that came to my mind were clocks. So if you guys go back through my YouTube a couple years ago, I made hexie clocks and Dresden clocks. And I don't know if you can see, you can't see it. Above my door over here is a Dresden clock, and you can drill a hole in the bottom here and then do your Dresden blades, and you can buy the attachment that kind of goes to the back. You can get those on Amazon and you can make clocks. Now, I don't need any more, but that was the first thing that came to my mind was for that. But other than that, I'm not really sure of what exactly they could be used for. So I've got six of them for $1. So sometimes I get things and I don't always know what I'm gonna use them for, but that way I'll have them, you know, whenever I need them. So what do you think? Drop it in the comments if you can think of something that you would use these for. Kind of quilty related, you know, could be crafty related. That is all the wood stuff. I can sew the stabilizer together to make a bigger sheet. I could do that, yep. Cut them in squares, draw crazy quilt-like lines on them and stitch and flip. Yeah, could do that. Yeah. Okay. Let's see what else we have. Another bag. Another bag. This bag was $2. So let's see what's in here. Let's open this one up. Okay, is Erin the only person that thrifts? Like thrifts and flea markets? Ooh, great. Elastic. This is full of elastic. So this is good because I've been making, I don't know if I showed y'all this. I've been practicing garments. So this is my husband's dress shirt. Let me do the face on view. This is one of his dress shirts, okay? And I was like, I think I'm gonna make a tank top out of it. So I used elastic. There's a channel I sewed in here with elastic so that it will kind of cinch up above my chest to like stay up. So I used Tilda fabrics to I use lace for the straps. It's kind of hard to see because I don't have it on. But I put a ruffle at the bottom, and then I've got little patchwork on the side for it for summer. But that elastic I used in here so that it'll kind of stay put. Kind of like this. This has got elastic thread in it. It's like thick thread. But you can kind of see the stuff I use lace for, like lace and, yeah, the elastic. So looks like I've got a lot of that in here. Oh my goodness, there's some labels in here, y'all. Oh, let me do the overhead. It says, made with love by Granny. Made with love by Granny. I'm not a granny, but those are cute, super, and it's got a little rocking chair in them. There's a little rocking chair. Can you see? That cute? Okay, so we've got black elastic. Okay, several of the black. Looks like we've got, I think it's supposed to be white, but it is now yellowed elastic. 80 cents. These were 80 cents back in the day. Doesn't give a year. Oh, and we've got, a nice long zipper, y'all. This is a parka zipper. It's 28 inches. And it's got the two, so it zips on both sides. So this is a good one to have for like bags and stuff. Okay, all right, so we've got a lot of elastic. This is good. You never know. I seem to need elastic. Like sometimes, you start a project like last minute, you get a wild hair, and you don't want to have to like go buy the thing or get it on Amazon. So this is perfect. Lots of elastic. Now let's check out the rickrack because y'all, this looks vintage. Oh my goodness, it is. More rickrack. Your son's girlfriend makes lots of money. She won 2 homes and buys her clothes at Goodwill still. Y'all, I do too. I buy a lot. I would say, so my husband literally, when he went to Goodwill yesterday with my stepdaughter, they went to a total of 4 over the last couple days, but 2 yesterday, and then like 2 thrift stores or something. At the Goodwill, he came home with 10 dresses for me. I mean, he buys my shoes too. Like he's really just good at that stuff. And he will hold it up. He knows my kind of my size and my shape. And because I'm pear shaped, I usually do better with like A-line kind of dresses. So anyway, he got all of those for me. They were half off. Each of the dresses were like $4. Yeah, so I would say probably 80% of my clothes I get secondhand at consignment shops or thrift shops or Goodwill. And actually a couple of them were Ann Taylor dresses. Yeah, I just have to get them cleaned or wash them. Okay, y'all, this is vintage rickrack. Look at this, all of this rickrack. Okay, Maud, the retro quilter. Look at, these are her colors. I think I might have to send those to her. Do y'all know Maud, the retro quilter? I think I've told y'all to go follow her on social media. She's all about vintage. Some of these are her colors. So things I might have duplicate of, I might share with her because she uses it a lot. And I have this one dress, I did buy new. I got it at Cato's, and it has the thick rickrack, like this size here. It has it all down the bottom of the skirt. It's super cute. So, okay, y'all, I scored with lots of rickrack, and this bag was $2. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited. I'm gonna have to figure out what to make. I'm gonna have to type in rickrack. What kind of projects can I make with that? Attach a Lazy Susan base, paint the top with a quilt design, add small containers for pins or scissors. That's a good idea. That's a really good idea. Painted a mini barn quilt on the circles. Yeah, Erin. Except I'm not the best painter. But if I use like painter's tape, I could probably do it really good. My dad and I made a barn quilt out of wood, but he cut the individual pieces of the wood and then we nailed them together, so we didn't use paint. But that's a good idea. Yeah, awesome deal. All of that for $2. Honestly, if this had been at Goodwill, it probably would have been $8. So, I mean, our local thrift store, really, really good. Okay, let's see what else we got. Oh, here's the other embroidery hoop. I got a little baby one. Now, I like the little baby ones because in my little embroidery machine, I can let me see if I've got any over here. Yeah, let me show you. So I downloaded these the other day. These are all quilt blocks that I just popped the flash drive into it's like a little basic Brother entry-level embroidery machine. And all of these can be embroidered out. So I like to get these little bitty ones. This was $1. And then I can stitch it out like that, right? And give it as a gift or use it as decoration. Take it to the retreat and give it as a retreat gift. Aren't that cute? So I have several of these. You like to add rickrack to kids' quilts? Yeah, I just would have to make sure I don't know if I would have enough for a big one, but for a kids' quilt I would, for sure. The odd discolored bias tape, I can find it in thrift bags, is great for tying my tomatoes. That's a good idea, Brenda. It's a really good idea. Anyway, that's the plan with this, is I just downloaded these maybe a month ago and I've not used any of them, but I think it would be really fun to use those for that. So that is that embroidery hoop. All right, let's see what else we've got. Okay, y'all, these are like vintage scratch pads. I got them for $1. So lots of times when I'm here, even the paper's just kind of brown. You know how you're always just like writing a little note, especially with stuff I do on the computer. I have lots of emails and I'm in the middle of all my fabric design stuff, and sometimes I'm having to like write down fabric requirements and stuff like that. And I don't want to just like use regular, paper at all the time. So $1 for all these. Got those. Make notes, so when I do, the giveaway, I can actually write the number down here cheaply, not waste a bunch of paper. Got that. Okay, I got some more notions. So they had heat and bond. This is 1 1/4. Heat and bond light. So this is the iron-on. And this is sewable. This is the sewable kind. So this is good for applique. It's acid-free. Yeah, so I got that because sometimes I do applique. So I thought that was a pretty good deal. Heat and bond is really sweet, though. They send me quite a bit. They've sent me quite a bit to use for some of my projects. You remember when you bought those pads? That's the correct color of the paper. Oh, is it? Okay. Maybe it's like, Brenda, maybe it's the like recycled or something. I don't know, but I don't care what color it is. Glad it works. Okay, this is called Stitch Witchery. I've never used it, but I'm going to. Stitch Witchery. This is actually by Dresden, so this can't be that old. Okay, 2005. And what's it for? Fuse base zippers, trims, and pockets. Oh, perfect, because whenever I put a zipper in, you know how that thing just wants to move? It's so frustrating. Y'all, though, if you're on Instagram, you've got to go over, it's probably on my Facebook channel too. I learned to sew a zipper in with my serger, and it's beautiful. I think I might have showed that to y'all on my live from the Quilting Expo, the stuff I brought back. But this would be good to keep that in place. Even pockets. Matching plaids and prints by fuse basting the seams. Okay, I've never done that. 50 cents. So that was worth it for sure. So got that. Got another bag, Let's see what's in this one, y'all. Oh, this is exciting. So far, everything I've gotten I would use. So let's see what we've got in here. Triangle on a roll. 700 half square triangle blocks. Oh boy. I don't like stitching on paper to make quilt blocks. I will not use this. But it would have been $10 if you bought it in the store. Okay, it says a continuous paper grid for accurate sewing of half square blocks. You cut 2 fabrics 7 inches wide by desired length to obtain the number of blocks needed. Lay fabrics right side together, cut paper to fit, and pin to fabric. See, I like to do just my rotary cutter and all of that, so I definitely would not use this. Do any of you guys use triangle on a roll to make triangle blocks? Ugh, Trish, I hate I hate foundation paper piecing. I hate it. My brain, so you know I have a little bit of dyslexia. I reverse things. And you know how you do it all in reverse? I made one, no joy. No joy. And when I try something a couple times and I still don't have joy, it's just not for me. So I definitely will not use this. I will not use it. Let's see. Oh boy, looks like we got more of it, y'all. We do. Oh gosh. FPP. Quarter square triangle block. So this one is triangle on a rock. This is quarter square, and it tells you what to do. Yeah, no joy here. You love it, Trish? Oh my goodness. Okay. So Trish and Eternity Homestead. Is it Jen? Jen, is it you? I'm trying to remember your first name. Both of you guys like this? Okay, I'll send each of you one. Trish, I'll send you one. And I think it's Jennifer, Jen, if I've got your name right. Or is it, oh, Valerie. Gosh, when I don't have y'all's first name on there, it's so hard for me to remember. Eternity Homestead, I'll send you one. Who wants which one? The triangles on a roll. And this one is the quarter square triangle. Yay, Jennifer. Okay, Jennifer. Good. Okay, well, I'll send this to you guys. Email me your addresses on that, and I will send these to you because I will definitely not use them. Thanks for being here. Thanks for supporting Thread Life with Belle. I'll send them your way since you both quickly got excited about FPP. FPP is not for me, but I'm glad it's for you. Glad it's for you. Okay, let's see what else is in here. Let me put this aside. And then Trish gets the bracelet too. Triangles on a roll, Trish. Okay, I'll put that aside for you so that I don't forget. And Jennifer, I'll send you the quarter square triangle on the roll. So I'll put that aside. All right, let's see what else is in here. Little teeny pins. Oh my goodness, teeny pins, y'all. I won't use these. These don't even have like a head to them. Like with my fingernails, I probably would drop them. They're so tiny. What would you use these little teeny tiny ones for with like no head to them? Like it's just barely a head there. Oh, y'all are welcome. You're welcome. Happy to share. Thanks for supporting Thread Life with Belle. Tell all your friends. Bring your friends on over. Yeah, I don't know about all these. I'll save the pins, but I don't use them that small. Ooh, okay, here we go. Dritz bias tape maker. This is a 1/2 inch bias tape maker. I'll keep that. This would have been $8 in the store. This was all part of the $2 bag that we're in right now. Okay, here's something that I've not seen before. Yeah, Trish, right? Drop in the floor. Look at these. I mean, they're tiny. I would drop these in the floor too. Step on them. That's why I don't know if I told y'all the story. When I very first started quilting, I opened up my Etsy shop first before my quilting business. And I used to make my own pins. So I make them where they're like with decorative buttons on them. Can y'all see these? Let's see if you can see those. Because when you drop them, and I had carpet at the time, you can't see them. And then if your eyes are getting bad, which I'm now wearing progressive lenses, you can't see them without your glasses on. So I don't make these anymore, but you can't see those kind of pins when they fall. Or even these kind that are white on the end. Bad news bears for me. end up in my feet. So I don't know. What do you use the tiny ones for, y'all? Hold on to the old pins. So Brenda, what did you use the short pins for a project? Little pieces of quilts. See, I don't piece little blocks. So for me, I don't think I have a block that's less than 9 inches square. My Dueling Diamonds, I believe, is that's the smallest size block, because I'm all about the bigger blocks, get them done, move on to the next one. I don't have big magnets in my sewing area, Brenda. I just don't. I just go for the big ones. I like these are the magic pins. They're silicone, so if you press over them, these are the ones I use. Yeah, but we got to use what works for us, right? I'll hang on to them in case there's some project. And then in my mind, I'll be like, yeah, Brenda told me to hang on to them. I probably would need them. I'm glad I did. Yeah, I don't know what to do with them either, Jennifer. Okay, so now we have, this was $1.20 if I had bought it at the store way back in the day. Let's see if there's a year. There's not a year on this. This is a Clean Erase Quilting Pencil by Nancy Crow, and it is yellow. It's oil-free lead, erases marks instantly with attached eraser. I don't believe that. Use pencil lightly, applying just enough pressure to see the markings. You're supposed to use it with a Quick Line Ruler number 2 by Nancy Crow. They can be washed out with cold water and soap. Y'all, this sounds dangerous to me to be using on fabric. Let's grab a piece of white scrap fabric and just see what we got going on here. Let's just see here. Let me zoom in. This is like a mess up block. Let's see if you can see this. Turn the light down. Let's see if it'll show up. Yeah, I mean, it's yellow. I don't know. That's a little scary. You know, I'll mark on this and then I'll wash it. I don't know if y'all can see that. Let's see. Let me hold it up. You can see it just barely right there. Okay, you use those little pins for bridesmaids' dresses. Okay. Yeah. Well, anyway, this, I don't know. I think I'm going to like throw it in the washer and just out of curiosity see what happens to this fabric. That's a little scary because this is so old. I mean, this is even yellowed now. But that's probably what they used before we had some of the better stuff that we have now, right? Okay. That'll be a test run to see what happens with that. What else do we have in here? Quick Trace Pattern Tracer. This is interesting. It's like, it's sticky. So there's some kind of like thing on it. Rubber on it. Automatic spacing. Oh, y'all look at this. Okay, look at this. So right here is a triangle. And they've used the pencil to like mark 2 lines next to the fabric. So I wonder if this is a 1/4 inch. No, it is not a 1/4 inch apart. These are 3/4 inch apart, so I don't know. Can be used for pattern carbon. Huh, not sure. That was an interesting find. Okay, we've got something here that's brand new. It's by Today's Quilter. It's the 1/4 inch ruler. Quickly and easily add 1/4 inch seam to any piece. And there's this little thing in there. So let's see. I've never seen this before. Let's see what this is all about. Does it tell me what to do? No, it does not tell me what to do. I guess that's the 1/4 inch here. 1/4 inch ruler. Okay, and then it looks on this side is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Add a 1/4 inch to any shape. I don't know what this little thing is for. This is interesting. Oh, I wonder if you put like a pen or a pencil in that hole. I'm gonna have to look this up. I'm gonna Google this one and see how to use this. Do y'all know? Have you ever used this before? Have you ever seen it? It's clearly not something that's new for sure. Nothing like that we really use now, I don't think. Brenda, what would you use to mark the seam on a dress pattern that didn't have seam allowances? It would be, because for dresses, it's usually, what, 5/8 or 3/8 for dresses? I'll have to Google this one, y'all. I'll have to Google that one. Okay, let's see what else we've got here. And one of the best things I'm saving for last to show you guys are vintage little girl dress patterns. They're so cute. That's what I'm saving for last. Okay, let's see what's in this bag. More stitch witchery. Okay, this is 5/8 inch, so now I've got one that is thicker. Let me turn the light back on a little bit. More stitch witchery. This is 3/4. Great, I've got all the sizes, y'all. This is called tiger tape. Tiger tape. Perfect stitches every time. A guide for evenly spaced stitches. It's for hand quilting, y'all. Okay, can you see this here? You put the tape on top of your fabric so that when you're stitching, let's open this up. You know how your stitches you want perfectly spaced apart when you're hand stitching, which I'm impatient, so mine are never perfect. I think that's what this tape is for. You actually use it as a guide. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, it's called tiger tape. Can you see all those little lines on there? Isn't it fun seeing all these older gadgets? I thought y'all might like this. I was like, oh my goodness, I've got to share it with my Thread Life with Belle friends. Yeah, okay, so it's sticky and it pulls off. Let's see if I can get it undone. It's really sticky, y'all. Okay, yeah. So there it is. So I'm just gonna tear one off. So if we had the fabric, let me grab the fabric. Let me grab a colored fabric so you can see it better. Here we go. So if we've got a colored fabric, say I was stitching this like this, you put it on here and then you can stitch. These are 1/4 inch apart, y'all. Wait a second, maybe it's 1/8. These are 1/8 of an inch apart, each of these little lines are. So you would just kind of set the tape all along what you're stitching and you could get perfect stitches. Who knew? Who knew? Made in the USA, patent pending. It's called tiger tape. It's trademarked. 30 yards of it. Marked at 9 lines. Marked at 9 inch. I don't know what that really means. Okay. Great for straight line quilting, buttonhole stitch, big stitch utility quilting, top stitching, sewing, or any craft that needs a guide. So stitch down a line and up a line using the lines as a guide. So up and down it. Who knew? Who knew? I had no idea either, because I do a little bit, sometimes just a little bit of hand quilting. Now I do a lot of EPP, but yeah, who knew? Somebody will have to Google it. It's called tiger tape, but it doesn't say okay, it's made by, here it is. There's a phone number and an email. Old Maid Quilts is the business, and it's in Goleta, California. So Trish, you're in California. How far away is that from you? And then there's an email. So yeah, it was never even opened. So someone cleaned out their granny's or their mom's sewing room, or maybe they just weren't doing it anymore, and look at all this stuff. So I got all of it. Like, it was literally just put out this morning, and they told me, you know, I was rooting through all the bins in the bottom. So I got it all. Like, I just got it all. I was like, for 20 bucks? Okay. Nancy's Notions first started mail order? Huh. Okay, we got more. This is 1/4 inch quilter's tape. Okay, it's got light adhesive, single face tape that doesn't leave a residue on your fabric. Okay, here's what this is for. It's used as a guide for spacing stitches and seam allowance. Now there's no marks on this though, to space for stitches. There's no marks on this one. So It holds applique in place temporarily as you sew. And you don't sew over or iron over this, and you don't leave on your fabric more than 24 hours. This is by Dritz. So, and this packaging doesn't look that old. Oh, 2010. So it's 15 years old on this. Okay, so fat quarter. Does the packaging look like this, Jennifer? Fat Quarter Shop sells tiger tape. I'm curious to know if it still looks like this. I have no idea, how old it is, but I'm kind of excited about that. Okay, let's see. So, and now we've got more Stitch Witchery. This is 20 yards, ultra light, and this is 5/8. So I got a lot of Stitch Witchery. I got no excuse. I got stuff that, like, you don't want to have to go buy, but you might just need it for something kind of small. Okay, let me move the camera back out. There we go. Similar. Okay, it's similar. It's not the same, but it's similar. All right, cool. Okay, let's see what else. Oh, the patterns. This is what I want to show you guys. This is what I'm most excited about. These were $1/4. Y'all are gonna die when you see these. These, I've never seen patterns like this before, ever. Okay, so Jennifer said that tiger tape to stitch is $12, basically, from Fat Quarter Shop. The packaging looks a little different, but if you need it, sounds like Fat Quarter Shop has it. Quilt Husband is not in here tonight, dropping links for you guys. So just go to their website and you probably can find it. Okay, here's what I'm excited about. These were all, and they're vintage because it was 1980 when these were made, but I swear I thought these probably would have been like from the 30s or the 40s. This is like just like an ink, a little fine ink pen. These are all little girls' dresses. And the brand is the Children's Corner Patterns. And, excuse me, they were all copyrighted in like 80, 81. So this is one here. Then we've got a girl's pleated double-breasted dress. Look at that one. Isn't that cute? I'm not going to sew any dresses with these, but they were $1/4 a piece. And I was like, oh, these would be cute to frame. But I don't have any wall space, so that's not going to happen. A friend of mine that lives about 2.5 hours away, she actually has a family member that adopted a little girl. And I'm going to send her some of these. She sews garments. So she actually will sew, but aren't they darling? Look at this one. Isn't that cute? And then it has different sizes. We'll pull one out here in a second and see what it looks like, the paper. Look at this one. Size 4. It's called Mary. So this one's called, oh, they all have little girls' names. This one's called Claire. This one's called Mary. This one's called Kai. This one's called Kelly. Isn't that cute? My mom used to sew clothes for me when I was little dresses and stuff. She was a really good garment sewer. Candace. These were all $1/4. I need to look them up on eBay and see what they're worth. I should look them up on eBay and see what they're worth. So this is circa 1929, collars for shadow work. So just little collars you put over their dresses. Betty Rast was the designer of these. So this came from Bossier City, Louisiana. Bossier City. Maybe they all came from Bossier City. Looks that way. Size 6, this one's called the Camille. Are they, Brenda? Okay, I'm gonna look these up on eBay, because if they're worth a lot of money, I may sell them. Like, it depends on how much they're worth. Like, they're worth like 25 bucks a piece or something. I might sell these. But I'm going to send one of them to my friend. This one's called Kai. Bossier City. These all came from Bossier City. Look at those. They're cute. I'll have to look them up. But the brand is the Children's Corner Patterns. This is for 18 months to 2 months on this one. Yeah. You can still get that paper with the lines. Used to use in school in the 60s. I know, I've seen those pads before. I actually have one. I have one called it's like the Lucky notepad, I think, that I found somewhere. They still sell those. So anyway, this was the haul, y'all. I got all of this stuff for $20 even. Isn't that crazy? Wasn't this fun? Wasn't it fun to see all this stuff? Oh, these would be for sale in the sewing magazines and the classified sections, Brenda said. Okay. Wow. That's wild. That is wild. Well, they're super fun. Okay, that is the haul, y'all. That is the haul from today. So what was your favorite? Of all those things that I showed you, what was your favorite of all of them? I'm curious to know. That's not going to fit in there. Yeah, right, Brenda? You just never know. The thing about it is it's hit or miss. It's literally hit or miss when I go, whether it's clothes. This was like literally someone cleaned out their sewing room, legitimately cleaned out their sewing room. And there was just all of this stuff, or they, whoops, let me zoom back out. I'm going to show y'all some other stuff. And they cleaned everything out, and it's like, I mean, $1, $2. That rickrack, though, I think my favorite as far as something that I'll use a lot is the rickrack, definitely. Erin, yours was the cutesy bracelets. You liked those? Yeah, those were pretty cute, for sure. I think it was the rickrack of all the things. Like if I had to pick, probably that. If the patterns are worth a lot, I'll say yeah, those would be if I resell some of those. And there have been things I've gotten also at thrift stores and stuff that are worth money, because I'll sell stuff on eBay too sometimes. My husband and I do that from time to time too. Okay, I'm gonna get this stuff out of the way, and I wanna show you a couple other things. So I told you that I was on the long arm learning how to use it, and I wanna show you the quilt. So I quilted this baby quilt, y'all. This is my Friendship Blooms. So my Friendship Blooms, the full pattern actually, you sew these on top of pieced blocks. But what I did was, this was a demo. I was actually showing people how to do the applique at H&H Americas this spring. So these were all the demo blocks. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna sew them into a baby quilt. So it's a small baby quilt. And I did use the long arm, and I was super proud of myself, although there's a few little mistakes. Let me turn this down and see if you can see the quilting better that way. There we go. So there's something called nesting with long arming, where when you're done with one pass on the row, there's a feature on the machine called nesting, where it will know exactly where to pick up on the other end, so that your quilting is nested in there without like being too far apart or quilting over something. And with my long arm, I didn't set it right, and so an error message went off. So I had to manually try to line this back up. So there is a little bit more of a space than I would have wanted between. I don't know if you can see that really well because this is so white. I don't usually sew with white, but it's just some extra that I had. There's a little bit more space, about this much, and it really should have been more like that much on here between the rows. But that's why I'm quilting on things that are not my cover quilts, and I'm going to show you some of the other things I'm going to quilt to practice, because I'm waiting for my fabric collection to get here. It doesn't get here, y'all, to the warehouse till September 6th. And then they ship it to me a few days later. So I'm gonna have to make my quilt samples for Quilt Market basically in 3 weeks. I only have 3 weeks to make probably 4 quilts. And there's only a limited amount of yardage for me to work with until all the bolts get here. So anyway, I'm practicing so I don't mess up my cover quilts that I'm gonna need to quilt. Y'all can't really see this very well. Let me see if I can. They're little flowers, but I was really proud of myself. There you can kind of see that one right here. If I turn it kind of slightly, you can see. If you look on my YouTube, you can watch the reel I did of it. And then on the back, I just had this is all Benartex fabrics. I had the pink, so I just went ahead and used it. And I thought it was really forgiving because you can't really see the stitches, but my tension was actually perfect on the back. So anyway, it's all done. It's really cute. I'm gonna go ahead and put the binding on it, and then this will end up, I'll just save it. So I'll have it ready to give as a gift. And I serged the edges, y'all. So I used my serger, and I serged the edges with a narrow serge. And here's what someone told me today. They said, Belle, you actually can go ahead and just like put your binding on and serge at the same time. And I'm like, what? So I may give that a try another time because I've already serged this, but I'm gonna try that because y'all know I've been using my serger more. I took some classes on it. So it just makes it all nice and flat. And there's no, this won't, sometimes when you're putting your binding on, it'll kind of separate and buckle over and all that mess. So now I don't have to worry about that. So that is the baby quilt that I did last week. And I'm going to show you the next one I'm going to do. Now this one, this was, y'all know I rescue Orphan blocks and Orphan tops. This was all hand pieced, okay? All these stitches were hand pieced with a needle and thread. No sewing machine at all on this one. And those are the ones that I rescue because it's like, oh my goodness, someone put all this work into this. So this is a double wedding ring. And I'm gonna possibly, if I have enough fabric, I'm gonna try to make a quilt coat out of it for fall because I like kind of earthy colors, but isn't that pretty? Let me see, I'll hold it up in front of you. I don't want you to see it up close. But it's a partial double wedding ring. It's like they never finished it all, but I think it would make a good quilt coat for fall. And this is muslin, like you can tell, like this is muslin. And I don't know, like if you had to guess the year, what would you say, the 70s maybe for this fabric possibly? It looks kind of like, it's kind of like feed sack, but I don't think it is feed sack. I really don't because it's, I don't know. It's a little bright for feed sack. But anyway, let me do the face on view so you guys can see all of it here. So I'm gonna quilt this one. Not next, but I'm gonna quilt it. Let me see, gosh, this is kind of big. So I think I have enough for a quilt coat, possibly. Or a skirt. Wouldn't this be nice as a skirt, y'all? Or maybe, let's see if I've got enough here for a dress. Hey, y'all, I have enough for a dress. Wouldn't that be cute? A skirt or a dress. Yeah. I have a wish list like a mile long and no time to do all of it. No, it's all cotton, Brenda. It's all cotton. You can tell it's 100% cotton. It's not polyester at all. So, and it's really like it's not like all stiff. It's nice and soft, but it's pretty big. But they never got it finished, I don't think. You know, because all the edges. I still feel like stuff was being attached to it. Maybe. I don't know, but maybe it was going to be like a lap quilt. I don't know. But I'm definitely going to make something out of this, and I'm thinking a quilt coat. You think, Brenda, your niece wore those little girl dress patterns when she was little? Could be. They're marked 1980, 81. So they're officially vintage for sure. Okay, so this fabric from the early 2000s? No, I think it's older. I think it's older than that, Trish. This is definitely older than the early 2000s. Let me hold it up close so you guys can see it better. What do you think? Like this truly feels like cotton for sure. Like there's no poly in this. And it looks like where you can rip it easily. Yeah, I don't think so. I really don't. And it's really soft too. Like it feels like this would be good for a garment for sure. But I'm gonna quilt it. So I'll show you a couple others I'm gonna quilt first before this one to make sure I get really good with it. If there's one, I have those patterns buried somewhere. You're sticking to your guns. You think the fabric is from the 2000s? Really, Trish? What does everybody else think? I may have to take a picture of it and put it in Google Image and see what Google says on it. Let me get it up closer so y'all can see it there. Yeah, it looks like 70s to me too. It really does. Maybe like 80, but to me it's like late 70s maybe. I don't know. Yeah, because it was like, you can see all the ripped, all the edges here are ripped. Like they didn't use a rotary cutter. They ripped each piece. It's wild. But y'all, it is literally, and her stitches are perfect. They're 1/4 inch a piece. I mean, all the work that into this, it's like, I can't just, I had to rescue it. I think I paid $35 for this. 35 bucks. And I have been holding on to it for a long time because it's like, I didn't want to quilt it, like straight stitch quilt it. And I didn't imagine I would get a long arm. But now that I have one, that's the plan for that. Okay, let me show you what else is going on. So this is what I did this morning. Is it hand quilted or machine quilted? It's not quilted yet, Brenda. I'm gonna long arm quilt it. That's hand pieced, and it's just the top. It's just hand pieced, right? It was a great, yeah. She hand pieced it. It's not quilted yet. So those are hand pieced with thread. Just like you can see, she handed all of it. I mean, who knows how long that took her. Anyway, this, let's see if that's too bright. My Sew Sister Maud, the retro quilter, we usually bring other gifts because we room together at the shows. It makes it a lot cheaper to split the hotel bill or the Airbnb. And she made this for me, and she hand quilted all of this. So this is all hand quilted by hand, and then she did the applique, needle turn applique on both sides here. I guess I've not shown this to y'all. I'm gonna try to see if you can see. I'm gonna get it up really close and see if you can see all of that. I don't know how long this took her, but she just did an amazing job. And then it's got the blue fabric inside. I don't know if you can see that. Let's see if you can see the blue. So when she gave it to me 2 years ago, I think it was at H&H. No, yeah, it was at H&H Americas 2 years ago. It had different handles on it. And although it's a darling and vintage, I didn't use it very much. So these were on here. Let me move these out of the way. They were on here like this, but these would kind of slide back and forth because really it needed fabric from here to here. But the main thing was, like, I don't want to carry it around on my wrist, you know, like this. I like to put stuff over my shoulder. So I didn't use it as much. And I really wanted to because I love, these are all vintage. This is a vintage Dresden plate. And look at this little butterfly. These are all vintage fabrics. She rescued this, and I was like, I want to use it. So y'all know, I think you saw me when I made a tote, the granny square handles that I got. This is all like crocheted or yeah, I guess it's crocheted. I mean, it's done with some kind of machine. But I changed out the handles, y'all. This, well, I got it prepped last night, and then this afternoon I sewed the new straps on. So now I can wear it. I can use it more because now it's like it can hang over my shoulders. So my hands can be free because with these, you know, you kind of have to carry it like this. And I get a lot of stuff in my tote bag. So then next thing I know, it's like pulling on my arm. Crocheted, yeah. I think they're crocheted. I know nothing about crochet and knitting, like Silcho. Yeah, so you can actually get these on eBay. I'm sorry, on Amazon. You can get these on Amazon, and they come in different colors. So it comes in a whole roll. This is a whole roll here of look at that. Isn't that cute? So I've used it on one tote, now 2 totes, and I have enough, I think, for at least one more, if not 2. And I think this was like $16 for all of this. And I haven't seen anything like this cute before. So I felt like it really needed to go on this tote so I could be hands-free. So yeah, there it is. It's on both sides. That was so cute. So that's it. So I did that. And then Maud was like, well, maybe you can use these for something else. So I'll have to figure out. Maybe I'll make another one and just use it for like decoration in my new collection. So I have to decorate my booth at Quilt Market. I just have samples of stuff there, so I might use it for something there, was what she suggested. So that's what's going on with that. Now let me grab the other 3 quilts. Okay, these are the other 3 quilt tops that I'm gonna be quilting on the long arm. All leading up to my 2 cover quilts for my next 2 patterns that are gonna release when the fabric releases, okay, like to the public. So this is, a friend of mine is having a baby in October, and she wanted a cathedral window quilt. So this is my Winsome Windows pattern. Let me zoom out. This is my Winsome Windows pattern. Whoops, well, I'll zoom in first. You can just kind of see. They're all different. She wanted it scrappy. So she came over and I fussy cut like the little birds, the little cardinals. And let's see here. Let's do the great big one. Yeah, let's do the great big view here. This is a baby size. And she picked all of the fat quarters. And we did a low volume scrappy background. And the thing about this for the long arm, I have a ruler base that's coming. So that, for those of you that don't know, because I'm just learning about this, the ruler base fits around kind of the throat area of the long arm. So if you want to use a ruler to stitch like straight lines down, you can. Or I could put my channel locks on actually, and the channel lock is where it will only go vertical or parallel and it'll stay in a straight line, so I'm not trying to like do it on my own. So initially I don't know, I was thinking about doing the straight lines, and then I was thinking about in each individual area here, which this is kind of a circle, okay, in here, I can do individual blocks, like quilting blocks. So I can pick a pantograph, and in each one of these could do something. So there's going to be a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There would be 12 kind of areas to quilt in, because with a cathedral window quilt, you're not supposed to quilt inside here, because if you feel inside there, these are thick seams in here to be able to make these, and this is not hard. If you look on my website, the Winsome Windows, that's what this one is. These are, I think, 9-inch blocks. These are 9-inch. They're not hard to make at all. It looks like it's complicated, but the way I do it, it's not. So, and you can do the scrappy. My favorite way to do these really is the scrappy, and do a low volume backgrounds. Or you could do like a darker background scrappy and then do the lighter. But I just love it a lot. Let me do this view so you guys can see it this way too. She hasn't seen it yet. Hopefully she doesn't watch this live, but it's this big. This is the baby size, or the baby size in the pattern. I think I have 3 sizes in this one, but the seams are pretty thick. So I'm gonna do that one, but I'm not gonna be able to do edge to edge on this one, because you can't go over these. Partly what can happen is these little lips right here, these don't get sewn down. They only get sewn right here to sew down the little frames. So you've got this here like this. And what can happen, even with the cup foot, it could accidentally kind of sew over those and bend it over. So, but the big thing that can happen is you can break a needle in the middle of these seams. So if you look here, this is 1, 2, 3, 4. This is a lot of layers here, and you have to press them open. So there's a bump right there. So it's really meant to kind of have that, 2D effect, I guess you could say. So anyway, long story short, that is what I'm gonna quilt, but I'm gonna do it, I think, straight in the grid, and then possibly in these areas right in here. I haven't 100% decided on that, but I think she's gonna love it. Okay, so that is in the hamper. to do. And then I've got 2 more. And I think y'all may have seen these, but I've been saving them because I knew I needed something to practice on that weren't like things that were going to be like at one of the quilt shows or anything. So this is my lovely Pinwheels quilt pattern. And let's see, let me get that vase out of the way. Let me move this in the floor. This one was made with just fabric that I had in my stash. And this one will be donated to my local children's advocacy center. So we have an advocacy center and they see kids that have been sexually and physically abused. And when the kids leave, they get to take a quilt with them. And a lot of advocacy centers throughout the country do that. So if you belong to a guild or you want to be able to do that, the pinwheel represents child abuse prevention. So it's a very special quilt block image symbol for child abuse to any child abuse serving organization, particularly like CASA and Children's Advocacy Center. So I designed this pattern in recognition of Child Abuse Prevention Month. Every April, a lot of the guilds, and I usually host some kind of quilt along with this pattern here. So let me do the face view and you can kind of see it. So I'm going to quilt this one and then it'll be donated to the Children's Advocacy Center. And this is a kid size here. It also comes in a really large lap size as well. So that one, this is actually the one I think I'm going to actually quilt next. So that'll be there. And then I've got one more and then I'll show y'all what we're going to do on Friday if you come. The next one is, I'm showing y'all this. This is probably going to end up being a pattern at some point that I release. Slightly different background pattern, but it's a double pointed Dresden. And this one will probably be released with my next quilt pattern design. So y'all are kind of getting to see that. But I made all of these with, it's got writing on it. It actually is like equations and science writing, but you really wouldn't know that. I'll open it all the way up here in a minute. It's folded right now. But they're all this double pointed Dresdens. And I've got it already in EQ8. Like I've already designed the pattern. So it's already designed and I've already created it. It just needs to be written. But I love double pointed Dresdens because you don't have to do a center circle. You actually can capture kind of what's in the back there and you don't need to do the center, and there's points on each end. So most all of these I sewed on my featherweight when we were away, like we would go away to a cabin or whatever over the years, I would work on them. And then I finished up at my last retreat I was at that I went to. I try to go to my guild retreat once a year. I know, isn't scripted fabric fun? Did I use a template to cut out these pieces, Brenda? Yes, I use an acrylic template to cut these out, absolutely. AccuQuilt does make a Dresden die, but it's like 9 inches. They're pretty big, they're pretty massive, but I loved this size. So let me show you, y'all are getting to see this really before anybody else does. So I can't really stand on a chair, but there's like a secondary pattern in the background behind it. I can't really get any taller here for y'all. And I can't stand on, you know what? I do have a stepping stool. Let me stand on this stepping stool. Make sure I don't break my, oops, my microphone came off. Make sure I don't break anything. Okay, I'm gonna stand on this stool. If y'all hear a crash, you know what happened. Okay, can you see it? I don't know if you can see the bottom or not, but anyway, this will be a future pattern. It's already designed, it just hasn't been written. But I like how it's got the secondary like square pattern in the background. I do have the AccuQuilt die for the 9 inch, but these are not. I think I remember these are 5 inch blades and they just go all the way around. They just go all the way around like that. And this is Benartex fabric. So Benartex had sent me, I don't normally quilt with black and gray. Those are not colors that I really ever use in quilts. They just don't feel like, I don't know, they feel kind of sad to me. But the fabrics feel really nice. And I made, at the Airbnb, the River House B&B, I did one block and I reupholstered one of the chairs down there. In the whole basement's been converted to a second living area, like bedrooms and everything. So I did that to the chair. So I went ahead and used the rest of the fabric to make a quilt, and I'll put this one down there at the B&B, the Airbnb, to match that chair. So it's gonna be a matching set, and the basement has kind of some gray to it down there. So yeah, anyway, this was a print by Moda. The actual scripted writing was. This was not from Benartex. The gray and the black background fabric was. This was called, it's like 2 words. I can't remember what it's called. Oh, it starts with a C. It's I can't remember now. But anyway, it was a Moda print that I got. I think I got it when I was at Missouri Star Quilt Company in 2021, when I went up there for birthday bash. You see snapplique opportunities everywhere. Snapplique opportunities everywhere. I'm not following you, Trish. Oh, to make Dresden's? Y'all, I've lost y'all. Pride and Prejudice fabric. I'm not getting the snapplique. You'll have to explain that one to me. Anyway, this is gonna be one I quilt. It's gonna go at the B&B, and it will be a future pattern probably later. Not this collection, but the next collection. I'm still kind of playing slightly with the background. I'm not 100% sure if I'm gonna alter that or not, but needless to say, this one's gonna get quilted and it'll go to the B&B, but these are not normally colors that I would use. They make me feel sad. I don't know if y'all know about me, but I don't like overly bright colors for quilts because it makes me anxious. And then I don't care for like a lot of colors like this, gray and black, because they're drab and they make me kind of sad. Isn't that weird how, it's not really weird, how color can make you feel things? I kind of like middle of the road, you know, like maybe slightly muted colors, but not like, you know, bright, overly bright stuff. But you know, everybody's different and you have to use what makes you feel good and feel happy. I will show y'all something though. I'm getting ready to work with some fabric. This is some fabric from Benartex. So I'm getting ready to test one of my new patterns. It's actually gonna be a free pattern that comes out with my fabric collection. And I've got the pattern ready. I just have to make a test run of it. So the pattern, I'm not gonna show it to you yet. Can't show that yet, but I wanna explain what you would be using for it. And it'll be free. And I think it's gonna come out, you'll see me start probably showing it the first of the year. I could release it a little sooner than that. I'm just not 100% sure on it. It'll be in the Benartex lookbook too, and it'll be free to fabric shops as well, and they're gonna kit it. But this is not my fabric. It's Benartex fabric, but it's not my line. But what happens is you use 25 fat quarters, which most everybody's got 25 fat quarters in their stash. You don't have to buy any fabric if you don't want to. But if you want to buy my new collection has 25 prints in it. So that's, you see where we're going? And the quilt is scrappy, okay? So it's literally the entire quilt top is made with 25 fat quarters. You don't use any background fabric. It's all with these. So what happens is you pick 12 kind of lower volume, like we'll call them lighter fabrics here. And then you pick 12 of the darker fabrics here. So you've got the contrast. And then one, number 25, is a medium, kind of in between the two, all right? And you're able to make all of the blocks. There's 25 blocks that you make in there. And so I'm gonna do a run with these fabrics and test out my instructions. I'm getting ready to send it out to testers probably in the next week so they can start working on it. But just to give you a little teaser here, 25 fat quarters, and it'll be a free pattern. And if you want to get my fabric collection, it'll work with that, or 25 that you have. So that's something I'm going to be working on soon. All right, for Friday, let me show you here. I made this visor, and I love it. You use wire. So this is a galvanized steel wire. You can also use the wire that you use to tie up your tomato plants. It's kind of green, but it bends, it's flexible. And the wire is one piece of wire all the way through here. And look at this, it twists. This is wire. So it's a visor that twists, and it makes this cute little bow when you twist it. And the pattern, it's not my pattern, it's another designer. So if you want to make it, like, I'll have the link for you guys on Friday. You have to buy her pattern. So I won't be able, like, I can't give you the templates and all that because, you know, that's her stuff. She needs to make some money. I think it's like maybe $5 or $6. It's really cheap. But I put a little tag on it that says, thanks, I made it. And I did strawberries, and it's reversible. So you can do either side. I could flip this all the way out, and it could be this side. So I used strawberries. Now, what I'm gonna do different though with you guys is I have the Heat and Bond liquid vinyl. And what you do is literally you take a brush and you paint what you want to be waterproofed. And this next one, I'm gonna do that with the rim here. I actually may do it with all of it because when I took this to the beach, I got it a little wet, like it kind of rained one day. And when it did, it kind of got a little wrinkly on here. So I'm gonna use the Heat and Bond on it. So anyway, needless to say, I'm gonna make this, and you guys can make it with me or make one yourself, but it's just really cute. And the nice thing is it doesn't mess up your hair, or it doesn't squeeze your hair, it doesn't hurt. So you just undo it like this. And I did the wide brim because I burn really, really easily. So I wanted like a really wide brim so that it stays off my face. And then, isn't that cute? Look at that. And then it just makes this cute little bow thing in the back right here. And you just bend them. You just twist it to bend it on. And you can, you know how some of these visors are like really tight on there and it hurts so bad. So yeah, and I always wear my hair up like this all the time, so it works out really good. So anyway, that's what I'm gonna be doing on Friday. So y'all be looking for that. And here's the funny story. My mom wore visors all the time growing up. She also has red hair, very fair skin. And I used to tease her because she always had a visor on. And you know, when you're a teenager or you're younger, you don't think that that's super cool. Well, here I am 50, and guess who's now wearing a visor, like good old mom, because she wanted to keep her skin nice. And so I've been wearing like hats and visors probably for the last 7 or 8 years. I'd say when I got in my early 40s, I started wearing them. So this is a tribute to mom. And the visor, that wasn't cool back then, but it's cool now if you want to stay with your skin not getting all kinds of sun damage. I thought this was really fun, and it was really easy to make. So we'll be doing that on Friday if you guys want to follow along or watch the recording. Okay, friends, do you guys have any questions at all about anything I've shared today? Polyester jogging suits and visors. Well, I don't have a polyester jogging suit. This is cotton, but y'all look at these strawberries. Isn't that cute? I don't care if it looks cool or not. It keeps my like nose and face from getting so sunburned, and I'd like to look, you know, as youthful as possible, so I'm gonna do it. But great way to reuse a gun cabinet. Oh, to put your quilts in it. That's a great idea. Great idea. All right, friends. Okay, let me double check and make sure I know who's getting what. I better write this down, y'all, while you're with me, because I tell you, my memory is not as great as it used to be. Trish, triangles on a roll, and the cute little measuring tape bracelet, right, Trish? So Trish, email me your address, bell@seamsewme.com. I'll send that to you. And then Jennifer is getting the quarter square triangle block paper. Jennifer. Okay, got it. Y'all both email me your addresses and I'll send this to you this week. Well, friends, thanks for being with me today. I really, really appreciate it. We've had a fun time. Y'all have had a lot of fun stuff in the chat going on, talking. Y'all are so sweet. All the same ones come back and y'all have like become friends. I think stuff like that would be really fun to be able to have everybody get together, wouldn't it? Yeah, part of me has thought, you know, in the future, I may open up my Quilt Retreat Center and do some kind of like drawing where, you know, I select, you know, a certain amount of people to come. Like if you can get here, you can stay for free and enjoy quilting together, and then y'all all can meet in person someday. So it might be something I do. I'm actually doing something like that similar with my testers. At the end of the year, the last weekend of December, my testers, they can come for free, come on down, and I'll have about 10 of them. And they'll be in both houses, and they're gonna have a tester retreat where they can, you know, quilt to their heart's content here. So I might do that maybe. Yeah, and Erin, we could go thrifting. We could all go thrifting to, there's 2 Goodwills in Hot Springs, and go thrifting. Wouldn't that be fun? So we'll see. I may do something like that for my thread masters. We'll see, we'll figure something out. So I have to kind of keep thinking about it. All right, friends, thanks for being with me for an hour and a half tonight. I look forward to being with you on Friday if you want to follow along for the Visor. And thanks for being here. Thanks for my thread masters. Thanks for you guys being so loyal and showing up. Share with your friends. And until next time, quilty friends, make lovely things. Bye, y'all.